Hello. So this is going to be the first episode. I realized that my audio was off, so I'm basically just going to watch the video and overlay audio over it. So we'll go over this together. Here I'm explaining that basically I finally have the stuff to make Sanguine's Bane, because we needed that elixir of blood and the vile dust, or in the vampire dust from Haymar's Shame. So But basically, it does 100 damage to your health, and then it applies a constant debuff. Like you take 100 damage, and then it gives you Sanguinary Vampiris, which causes damage over time. It says 3 days, but it's actually 1. Healing potions work, but restoration doesn't, which we don't have restoration on this character, so it doesn't matter. But basically, how it works is like every second, there's a 3% chance that you take damage. So basically, you consistently take damage over time, and you can't wait or sleep. So you basically have to drink the, what's it called? The Sanguinary Vampiris from, and then, like, find stuff to do nearby for the next day. So I don't remember if we bought the regeneration potion already, or we're going to buy it now. I think we're going to go buy it now, yeah. Oh, we're gonna talk to the Jarl. Okay, it's been a while. I was many videos ahead of this, and then went back to start uploading them, and then realized that this didn't have any audio or didn't have any. This is really quiet. See if I can.
May wisdom forever light your path.
Yeah, I think I buy the regeneration potion now. Yeah.
Got something for just about everyone in here. Give a holler if you have any questions.
I was wondering what the two of them were doing in here.
Someone new, perhaps? Take a look.
But if I recall correctly, she has a good or remarkable regeneration. Yeah. 1100 gold, but we have the gold to this point, so. I think we were looking at her resist potions as well. Oh yeah, she doesn't have a resist magic for whatever reason, which is annoying. Because we were looking for one for eventually to do Rhyme Rock. So I just sell her all my crap. I was holding on to the invisibilities, but then I never ended up using them, and it's kind of like whatever. Let's just move on. And then also pop a healing poultice, of course, because the healing poultice also counteracts some of the yes, I was explaining that I was trying to find a resist magic, so that counteracts some of the damage over time. The healing poultice, believe it or not, because you know applying a poultice to the outside of your body stops a disease from damaging you. You know. So then we basically I'm gonna run through just the bandits in this area to basically to burn some time, get some gold, that kind of stuff. I don't remember what was up with the resistances. Oh, showing that I'm just now starting to get, or I'm starting to get some passive MR. You get it both from leveling, because Forn added a perk where you get it from leveling, and then up to 6%, I believe. And then you also get magic resistance as soon as your base magicka goes over 150. I don't remember what I was explaining here. Oh, that I just barely can't summon Spectral Archer, I guess. This was before I realized that I didn't have the adept. I didn't have the adept perk for spell casting and heavy armor. Basically, they get a minute 38, so I have just enough time to also summon my Bound Battle Axe and still have skeletons to help fight these orcs. So it's your typical... The orcs here can be a little bit harder, but they're basically still bandits at the end of the day. They're just orc bandits, so they have a lot of health and do a lot of damage. I'm trying to get them over here before the skeletons run out. But I hear them fighting something, and then I realize that Barbas somehow got in there without me seeing him. Even watching the video, I still don't know how Barbas got in there, but... But it's your typical walk around behind him, slash him in the back while your summons kill everything. I get tired of waiting for my stamina, so... And this was also when I was still collecting food ingredients, not realizing that once you go vampire, you can't eat. So, yeah, that's the thing. I realize that I'm just barely short of being able to dual cast Raise Dead. Because I was worried that these guys were too high level to single cast. Oh, I think this is the first time I tried dual casting, actually. And then I just realized that it doesn't actually extend the time. It just allows you to revive stronger corpses. Yeah, see, then I realized that it doesn't make a difference in time. I'm looking for magicka food, but I don't have any. That's probably the biggest mistake I made on this whole playthrough, is not taking any magicka food. I decided to go with some weaker food just because we have so much food. But I have to say, waiting for Bound Battle Axe is one of the annoying things about this build, I have to say. Like, if anything, if I had a recommendation, would be to always have magicka food or always make magicka potions. I decided not pull these guys outside because I don't want to deal with, like, sometimes your revives don't come back out. So, yeah, these guys had some pretty good gear in here. Honestly, I probably should have taken the Dwarven Battle Axe. I think oh no, because the Bound has ebony damage. I take that back. Bound Battle Axe is very, very strong. Now this guy is a monster if you have small tweaks, but I still don't have small tweaks at this point, so he's basically just a named orc. But I don't really think the fight would have gone that much differently. You just have to be a lot more careful because he's a trickster. He's like a high-level trickster, so he always has like an adept staff. And then a surpassing healing, which ends up being clutch later on. Off camera, it ends up being useful. There's also a mod to make your revives stop, like, grunting constantly, but I don't know which one it is. There's always good loot in here. It's always worth doing Cracked Tusk, as long as you're confident you can kill the boss, because it's always got good stuff. Even if you're not going to get Mehrunes Razor. But I do also always recommend doing Mehrunes Razor because obviously you get 2 Dremora to kill, which is guaranteed Daedra Hearts, plus the Mehrunes Razor, even if you're not going to use it, it sells for a lot of gold. And we can open Adept, which is really nice. Strangely enough, if you stand in the middle, it doesn't actually hit you. And unfortunately, we do have to TCL a lot, just because there's another mod that lets you walk through your allies, but I need to actually download it, of course. Yeah, and of course, Cracked Tusk also has the orc crafting book, plus it has a smithing book and an evasion book. So I always recommend Cracked Tusk. It's a good dungeon. Pretty easy, lots of good stuff. But not like an overwhelming amount of stuff to where it needs to be rebalanced, I don't think. My typical, I'm carrying way too much stuff. This doesn't clear up space, it's mostly just to clear up my inventory a bit. And honestly, what would have been smarter than having a crossbow, I think, would have been to maybe use the bound bow. I don't know, though. We already struggle with magicka as it is. And it's always nice to be able to switch to, unless you use the infinite stamina outside of combat, it's always nice to switch to the stamina blessing just to run around. And then I missed the second swing, and then he basically heals to full, so then I'm like, I'm just gonna hide. Or I think I decide I'm gonna run. But I'm kind of in between a rock and a hard place here. So then, of course, I realize I probably need my fire necklace, but that reduces my stamina even more because I'm not wearing my necklace of stamina. So I basically believe that I just decide to let my orcs and Barbus deal with this guy. But then I decide that he's close enough, I can switch to stamina, just bull rush him and kill him. And then I miss him again. And then he randomly falls from that, or dies from that fall damage, which is pretty funny. He has some pretty good stuff on him. So that was probably the sloppiest Necromancer fight in history, but it is what it is. At least I didn't die. I get a Hawk's Beak, which is actually really rare. Making sure there's no books or anything. But what's nice, of course, is since we have a regeneration potion, we can kind of not heal between combat. Because it's only a few more episodes till we get Vampirism, and then we can finally heal ourselves. Which is, honestly, makes such a gigantic difference. Once you gain the ability to, like, heal yourself for free is just so big. I think it's just because I got so spoiled on it with, Argonian. And then I get Rock Joint, funny enough. And that's typical, your horse runs from you. Still stockpiling raw meat, even though I'm going to be vampire, I think, in like 3 episodes. I don't remember what I was checking here. Oh yeah, and I come back for the wolf. Wolves are always nice, even though they're low health. They move so fast. That oh, I was checking how many corpses I had. Because if we can have 3 corpses, we might as well always have 3 corpses. Doesn't really matter what they are. Then always tag your horse, that way you can find it if it dies. Because I just revive my horse if it dies, I don't really care. Because for... Well, Frost, I mean, you get from a quest, but normally I pay the 6,000 for a horse, and it's like, I'm not going to pay 6,000 for a horse and then have it die and then just not have a horse. It's just like, that's not something I'm willing to deal with. I know I've said it probably a million times, but that's why I like the Red Dead way of handling it, where you basically have like a horse license that's really expensive, but once you have it, you can just respawn that horse with the horse license. Now, Shelf Rock is one of those more bandit camp, so it has a lot of bandits in a small area. I'm always on the fence about this mod. I'm more leaning towards removing it than keeping it, especially since Ghoul Smasher is working on his own version, or it's mostly done, and his is probably just better. So, and I believe it has integrated radio quest support too, you know, for like bounties and stuff like that. So, once his is done, I'll probably switch to that, because I'm not a big fan of this shenanigans of the more bandit camps or more bandit camps mod. Bound Battle Axe is still monstrously strong. And then I miss my power attack. Do we pop an Undying Breath here? I don't remember. No, because I figured Barbas will just keep her distracted forever. Now, if I was trying to be really, really careful... I'm so bad. If I were trying to be really careful, I would have used Undying. I think I do actually pop one. Yeah, I do pop one. Because I'm afraid this guy's going to turn to start shooting at me. He's a level 24, which means he'll hit me for probably half my health. And then it's a hunter, but I accidentally hit her, so now she's aggroed, so I figure I'll just go murder her because it doesn't matter. Because I don't have a blessing that prevents me from murdering. And I decide not to take the Mammoth Tusk, and then as of this recording, I still haven't done Halda's Stream, so I still haven't done Ysolda's quest yet, which is kind of funny. Oh yeah, it's an unreadable book. It's just there for decoration, which is really strange. And then there's like 9,000 breads. Which is weird. I'm looking for the boss chest. And then you can also, in this camp in particular, you can just get stuck back here. Which is another obnoxious thing. Then I'm trying to like deselect so I can actually toggle collision on myself. But if I recall correctly, there is no. I know I took so much. I'm watching through this, and I took so much aged Idar cheese, and I never once made Elsewhere fondue before Vampirism, which is kind of funny. But normally, Elsewhere fondue is amazing. Like, is amazing. Especially early game when you don't have any. Well, you don't have good magical regen gear. Like, Elsewhere fondue is just incredible. Especially since it's numerical magicka regen. Yeah, I decide that, wait a minute, I don't have any corpses, so I decide to go all the way back and get those corpses. Like, you can really never be too careful, especially with like a conjurer build to not, or a necromancer build to not have corpses is kind of, you know, what's the point? Then I'm basically just a melee character. And I always realize that I switch the blessing in my quick inventory and then never actually activate it. I had to make that mistake a lot. I still make that mistake to this day, because the Vile Blessing has so many moving pieces. I'm looking for more of the corpses to revive. And which reminds me of something. I really wish that Detect Death was a much more accessible spell, because it's really only useful for looting for the most part, but I believe it's like an adept or higher alteration spell, which I think is kind of, I don't know, not a big fan of that. It's like rarer than Detect Death or than Detect Life, which is kind of like, Yeah, I don't know why the quest to kill the bandit at Bile Gulch gave me Undiscovered Toadstool Ring instead of Bile Gulch. I don't know if that's a bug.
Bad time to get lost again.
But I believe Bile Gulch is the last thing we do anyways in this episode. Ugh. And then we get the scavenger encounter.
This is my treasure. Never should have gone.
This is a surprise.
And then he runs. Then I miss again. But he's using Heal Self too, which is his mistake because that spell is terrible. Or is it Heal Self 3 that's terrible? I think it's Heal Self 3 that's terrible, actually. And then he doesn't actually have anything good on him, which is weird. So I don't really understand the point of the scavenger encounter, but, you know, is what it is. But one of the dead guys randomly has a surpassing, which also ends up being clutch. And then there I realized that you can actually ask him to stop following you, which I didn't realize. So maybe that would have been a good idea. But honestly, I'm just doing like time wasting quests, so it doesn't really matter. I don't feel like I'm like cheesing that much because I don't really care. I'm just trying to get vampirism. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even done more bandit content at all. But one way or another, you have to burn up a full day's worth of time that you can't wait through. So it's either you can just increase in-game time and step away, or you can actually do content while you're waiting, and I figured we'll go with the latter option. Especially since you have to actually watch your character, because if you die, then you die, right? So then, even if you're not on Dead is Dead, you still have to come back to your character being dead and then reload, and then you wasted all that time anyways, so... Now, if I had been smart and bought both regeneration potions that she had, then yeah, I could have popped one, stepped away, come back, and popped another one. But I mean, we might as well make use of that time, right? Because there's not like a deficient amount of content to do in this game. So, like me normally when I play like off camera, I turn all of the leveling way down, and I do a ton more content. And then it feels like every level is really, really earned because it takes so long.
Go ahead. Try and fight back. I'll skin you alive.
And I'm looking for my guys. I don't know where they are. And then I realize that he's being pegged by the enchanted arrows from the level 24 guy that I revived from, like, he's shooting at him from, like, a quarter mile away. Which is interesting. And this is why I changed the block back. Because otherwise it's like, yeah, I can dance around him like an idiot and wait for him to attack and you know, swing when he attacks, but or I could just be more active with my time and use my own attacks. Because he's not going to beat me anyways, not one-on-one, so I might as well just wail on his block until he's dead. It's always been my reasoning. Waiting for my guys to get in there. I don't know if you guys can hear that dog barking in the background. It's pretty annoying. Well, we do find some pretty good gear in here. I don't believe there's actually any loot in here. It's just the Orichalcum mine. But for those of you guys that are smithing characters, you can do these same two dungeons that I showed you, the Crack Tusk and Bile Gulch, and that'll get you the ability to make your own Orcish gear. So just keep that in mind if you are a smithing character. But either way, yeah, I realize that I'm trying to fast travel and I'm over encumbered. You know, typical. But I believe that, let's see how much is left in this. A good amount of time, actually. I don't know why, because I don't think I do anything else. I think I'm just explaining that next I'm going to do Gearman's Hall and then Shroud Hearth Barrow if we have time. Oh yeah, that'll level my skills. Excuse me. Everything I need is at 50, so I believe is when this is either we take enchanting or alteration. Yeah, we start working on alteration, because eventually we want mage armor on this build too for the MR. And obviously for the extra armor. I was trying to make sure that I don't go past 25. Because I was too dumb to do the math quickly in my head. I'm basically explaining that all of my major skills are done. Because I still haven't realized that I need the Adept perk in Heavy Armor yet. So, do I take this one now? I believe I do. No? Maybe not. I think I'm trying to decide what skills I want to take. I consider taking block, but we're already so perk starved that I still don't even have block where I'm at now, and I'm like a considerable ways past this. Oh, there we go. I finally realized that I didn't have Adept. Yeah, and it drops it all the way to 207, which means I can finally use Spectral Archer. And Spectral Archer is very good. Oh, I was trying to figure out if I can dual cast it, and I cannot dual cast it yet. $130, and we need 175 for the Necromancer Amulet. So we're still 45 away. So it'll be a while. much is left? Okay, like a minute. So yeah, I think the next 9 episodes after this are all gonna be voiceover after the fact, because like I said, I didn't realize that my mic was off the whole time. So yeah, thanks for watching. I basically just explained my next plans for all the stuff, but you guys will see it as we play.